The Velkari Imperial fleet materialized at the edge of the Sol system, with the confidence of conquerors returning to an ancient battlefield. Supreme Commander Zarthik stood before the observation deck, his four eyes fixed on the distant yellow star that had once hosted the species called humans. 40,000 years had passed since the convergence, the day when 17 galactic civilizations had united to eliminate the human threat. The records were clear. Earth had been reduced to molten slag, its colonies scattered across 100 worlds obliterated in synchronized strikes. Humanity, with its dangerous unpredictability and refusal to accept galactic order, had been erased. "Sir, we're detecting unusual energy signatures throughout the system," reported Tactical Officer Linva, her tentacles trembling slightly over the sensor array. Zarthik dismissed the concern with a wave of his primary manipulator. Residual radiation. 40 millennia is nothing to a planet's death throes. He had come to Sol as part of the Grand Memorial Tour, a ceremonial journey to remind the younger species of what happened to those who defied the convergence. But as the fleet pushed deeper into the system, the anomalies multiplied. Where Earth should have been a lifeless cinder, something else waited. A structure. Impossibly massive, it encircled the star itself. A Dyson sphere of such architectural magnificence that it made the greatest convergence constructs look like children's toys. This cannot be," Zarthik whispered. The communications array suddenly blazed to life. Every screen, every holographic display, every neural interface simultaneously displayed the same image. A human face. Not ancient, not deteriorated by time, but crisp and clear. The human smiled. That unsettling expression that had once made diplomats across the galaxy uncomfortable. "Hello," the human said in perfect Velkari. "We've been expecting you." Zarthik's blood ran cold. "Impossible. We watched your world burn." "You watched a world burn," the human corrected. "You made a fundamental error in your calculations. You assumed Earth was our only home. You assumed 40,000 years was a long time." The human's smile widened. "For you, perhaps it is. For us, it was barely enough time to get started." The Dyson sphere suddenly came alive with light, sections irised open, revealing vast shipyards that stretched for millions of kilometers. And emerging from those yards came vessels, thousands of them, then millions, each one bearing design philosophies that made convergence engineers weep at their monitors. "When you destroyed Earth, you united us in ways our own politicians never could," the human continued. "You gave us purpose. You taught us that the galaxy doesn't negotiate with the weak." The image shifted, showing vast fleets, world-sized habitats, stellar engines moving entire star systems. "So we became strong. We scattered to the outer darkness, to rogue planets and interstellar voids you never bothered to explore. We built in silence. We evolved. We adapted." Linva's console was screaming warnings. "Sir, we're detecting weapon signatures. The entire sphere is, by the ancestors, the entire structure is a weapon." "Not just a weapon," the human said, clearly monitoring their communications. "A message. You see, we learned something important from you. Fear is a tool, and after 40,000 years of preparation, we're ready to teach the galaxy what humanity learned in its darkest hour." Zarthik found his voice. "You would wage war against the entire convergence? We are 17 civilizations, billions of worlds." "Were," the human interrupted. "You were 17 civilizations." The display shifted again, showing real-time feeds from across the galaxy. Convergence worlds, the very same that had participated in Earth's destruction, now faced human fleets emerging from quantum tunnels, from slipspace, from dimensions the convergence had never known existed. "We've been watching you for 40,000 years. Learning your languages, mapping your worlds, understanding your weaknesses." The human leaned forward and all trace of the smile vanished. "You wanted to eliminate humanity because we were unpredictable, because we didn't fit into your ordered galaxy. You were right to fear us, but your mistake was thinking you could eliminate us completely. You should have made sure we were extinct. Instead, you taught us to become something far worse than you imagined." Zarthik's command staff stood frozen. Every military doctrine, every strategic protocol they had relied upon for millennia, suddenly seemed meaningless against an enemy that had spent 400 centuries preparing for this single moment. "What do you want?" Zarthik asked, his voice barely a whisper. The human's expression softened into something that might have been pity. We want you to deliver a message to what's left of the convergence. Tell them that humanity offers them the same choice they once offered us. The human paused, letting the weight of those words settle. Unconditional surrender or complete annihilation. And if we refuse? The human gestured to the void around them. Then you'll join Earth. Not as a cautionary tale, but as a forgotten whisper in the dark. Because unlike you, we won't leave survivors to remember your names. Zarthik looked at his crew, at the thousands of ships in his fleet that suddenly seemed so small, so inadequate. He thought of the convergence of the vast empire that had stood unchallenged for 100,000 years, now facing an enemy born from its own cruelty. What message should we carry? He asked finally. The human smile returned, cold and terrible. Just one word. The displays flickered, and across every screen in every language the convergence had ever spoken, a single word appeared in blazing letters. Run. The transmission ended. The human face disappeared, but the Dyson sphere remained, a monument to humanity's patience and wrath, burning in the void where Earth had once died. And as Zarthik ordered the retreat, as his fleet scattered in terror, he understood the true horror of what the convergence had created. They hadn't destroyed humanity. They had forged it into something that would haunt the galaxy for the next 40,000 years.